Hello and welcome to this week's video. So you might hear noises because my mom's upstairs, but I'm not in front of my bed because it's a mess and I didn't feel like cleaning it off yet. So yeah, and I don't have any other lights on. I'm in front of my window. So yeah, but this week's video is going to be me talking about my first week of school. Well, let's see. I went on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, so that's about a week, 4 days. I moved, so in case any of you didn't get the hint that I would be starting a new school, well, I started a new school, and I have to make a whole bunch of new friends and stuff like that. But I moved to the same school district where one of my best friends moved last year. There is some kid playing Pokemon Go outside in his backyard. I'm here to talk about my first week of school. So I have to wake up at 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning to wake up, take a shower and do all that jazz. And I don't usually eat breakfast because breakfast is a waste of my time. But yeah, and I usually go to bed around 11, but lately I've been going to bed really early. So I woke up on the first day of school, and see, I was nervous, but I wasn't like shaky nervous. I was just like, oh, well, school, you have to tackle it one way or another. So I got dressed and stuff, and I was a little nervous to leave the house because I didn't know who's all gonna be there. And so I walked to my bus stop, and the kids there, this is gonna be really lame, but the kids there seemed really, really cool, okay? So I didn't, and there's a crosswalk, about 10 feet from the end of my street. And I didn't want to seem like a nerd or whatever. And I know that's you shouldn't call yourself a nerd or anything and be you, but I wanted to impress them. So I didn't use the crosswalk. I just waited for the cars to stop coming across the street because I didn't want to seem like a goody two-shoes, but really I am, and I follow almost every rule that's given to me. But yeah, so that's how it started. And then I went into my first class, which was choir, which luckily I don't have to audition for, but everyone else had to. But yeah, so I went to choir, and that class was we got into groups and we went to stations, and one of the stations was Find Someone Who. So thankfully the people in my group were very talkative, and I didn't have to get my own partner or anything. There are 2 flies on my window. I didn't have to talk too much, but I talked because you have to make friends. So I talked, and yeah. So then I got out of choir and I went to world history. This I found hilarious. So I went to world history and we did this civilization thing. And it's you had to create your own civilization with people who were around you. So I was with this kid Trayvon and some other kid, I don't know his name, but we were there, and see, we couldn't think of a name because I didn't want to I didn't put myself out there that much. So Trayvon came up with the name. He said we should call it Major Key. I guess he really likes DJ Khaled, and he was like, let's call it Major Key. Okay, so then he drew DJ Khaled, and so yeah, and then instead of drawing villagers in our civilization, he drew baddies. Okay, so there were just girls everywhere. There weren't any guys. So yeah, and then we were doing the little activities that were given to us with all our baddies in the town of Major Key. So we were there doing stuff, and then we were given a challenge. We had to draw some sort of religious figure. He drew DJ Khaled up in the sky. So, and then our church wasn't a church, it was a stage for DJ Khaled to perform on. Wow. Okay, so then that was world history altogether. And then I went to, what class did I have after that? English. English wasn't really that entertaining, but this girl behind me had no filter, whatsoever. And she just said whatever she wanted to. Then she just kept talking and talking nonsense. And my first day of school, not a good impression. So yeah. And then I went to biomed, or biomedical science, And I sat down. I really like science, so I was cool with this class. And I sat down and I was all like ready to learn. But then this guy comes in, sits down next to me, and starts chewing his gum. And I'm not talking about like with his mouth closed. He was chewing like, and I wasn't gonna I didn't want to start a fight. So I was quiet and I just sat there. And then this girl, this might have been a rude question. It bothers me when people ask me, but he seemed like a pretty confident kid. So she was asking him, she was like, do you like boys or girls? And then he responded with, girl, I eat for a living. What do you think? And I was just like, wow. Oh, okay. So, and then 10 minutes later, the teacher called she took attendance, and his name wasn't on the list. We were like, oh, it's just one of those errors, because all day long, people were in the wrong classes or people were in the right classes, but their names weren't on the teacher's rosters. So it turns out he wasn't even supposed to be in that class. He was supposed to be in the one across the hall. Okay, so at my school we have block scheduling, so you have 4 classes one day and then 4 classes the other. So that was a red day, and then on a black day, which is the second day, I started off going to Spanish, and luckily I was in the class with my friend Kylia, who's my best friend, and she moved to that school district. She moved there last year, and we were in that class together, and I was like, great, awesome, class with my friend finally. So we were in that class, and we got separated. She sits on one side of the room, I sit on the other. We were on 2 separate sides of the room, so nothing happened in that class, but I like Spanish, so okay. And then I went to my next class, which was, we don't have homeroom, we have something called West Time, and I'm in a class that's called, for West Time, I'm in a class that's called West Prep, and it's for African American students who excel, they do good in school. So I'm in that, and yeah, so I didn't really talk to anyone in there because it was all guys and they were all talking about sports, and I don't really like sports, so I kept to myself. And then my next class was chemistry, so I was in the same classroom as the classroom I was already in, so I stayed in there. And then Kylia came in that classroom, and I was like, oh, awesome, we're in the same class again, no problem with that. And we don't have assigned seats in that class, so we sit right next to each other. But so I was in that class, and it was cool and fun and stuff because I like science. And my teacher is really cool. He's a young guy, he's 29, 30 I think, and he was telling us about himself, and that was that class. Nothing really eventful happened except for today. He did experiments. He showed us you put Cheetos with sodium fluoride, something, I don't know, and it caused all sorts of sparks. And I was like, first of all, how do Cheetos do that? I like Cheetos, and then is it harmful? But no, it's just the combination of stuff. So, and then he put some liquid in a jar and set that on fire, and then showed us how to suffocate. Oh, sorry, I'm moving. But he showed us how to suffocate the fire. So yeah, and that's about it. But then on Friday, which is another red day, nothing happened in those classes again. But then after school, I had my first drama meeting, and I was so excited because drama in high school last year was where I found most of the people I talked to, because they're just my kind of people. So I talked to them, and it was cool. I'm not sure if we're friends, acquaintances. I acquainted this girl, her name was Amanda. She was the president of drama club, and we talked to each other most of that. And we got a tour of the theater. I really liked it. So yeah, we got a tour of the theater, and I figured out that we're doing 3 shows this year. Last year at my old school we did 2. And this year they're only doing one at my old school. I keep in touch with my friend who's in drama club there. But they're only doing one, which is why I was really confused. I was like, how are we gonna fit 3 shows but okay. So our first play is called 29 Steps. I'm not auditioning for that because I'm not really the acting type. I'm going to be doing costume and makeup again. And then our next play is the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That is, I'm not trying out for that either. I'm gonna try to do costume and wardrobe, or costume and makeup. And we're doing Hairspray in April. So I'm gonna try out for that because I like to sing, but I don't know because there are other kids from choir, but they do need a lot of African Americans, I guess, for Hairspray. So I'm excited for that. Who knows? But yeah, that was my first week at my new school. And I hope this video was entertaining to you. Who knows what you're interested in? I liked it, mainly because I'm standing and I'm talking about how my week went. I like doing that. Yeah, hope you liked it, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends to help my channel grow, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye.